Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with SimplerOptions.com, and in tonight's free video I wanted to share some ideas with you that we've been working in the chat room based off the idea that this week will essentially be range bound. Now, we all know that the big focus for essentially this week, and more importantly next week, will be the election on Tuesday. So of course that's not this Tuesday, but the next. And to some degree I think that will keep the markets at bay this week. And inside of that, what are a couple of places that we could look to try and put on some good delta neutral, theta positive trades? One place that I like to look is to any of these bigger names that have already reported earnings, and I think Amazon makes for a good candidate in this case because you've had a drop that was significant enough that I don't think you're going to see quite as much euphoria to the upside as what we had seen from the initial run from about 760 into that 847 level. I just don't think you're going to get ready to gear up and move up into fresh new highs, but then on the same page, you've got a nice area where prices held support back here, and to me this just creates a very nice middle of the range type situation where we can look to sell some premium. So what we set up today in the chat room is just coming over and looking at some very basic iron condors. Now, I like the idea of pursuing these in the series that will expire this Friday because it allows you to get a little bit more direct focus on that decay, which is kind of the whole idea why we're trying to put these trades on. And I look at it and say, at the time of this execution, we were trading much closer to about 785, and with a $15 expected move, that gives you a nice mix of psychological resistance, right in line with the expected market maker move, and just a basic area that I would like to see us hold resistance if we were to rally up into that price. On the exact flip side, and $15 lower, you can see we have support right here at 770. And I felt like this was just a good example of a chart that has reported earnings, finding some range-bound price action in it, and then being able to get those theta positive strategies on in those points. The IV percentile is in the lower third, which isn't the best scenario for selling premium, but I would argue that that range and being able to, still take in what we did on that is worth considering, and that's one way that I'll be looking at that into Friday. One place to kind of mix that idea and share some work here with Netflix that I've been looking at, because it's very similar sentiment. To some degree, you would say, well, Netflix is very strong, and I think we may be looking at the potential for a push up into new highs. But then in the same idea, we've got a squeeze that is fired short, and this may very well put a little bit of pressure on the market. Now, you can position these a couple of ways, but one way to think about it is that if you're a little bit bearish on Netflix, and we happen to see a gap up tomorrow, you might entertain a butterfly like what we're looking at here with the 122, 125, 128. If you could get that spread somewhere near 85 cents on a gap higher, then what you're looking for is for it to essentially trade sideways to slightly lower, try to keep those 125 calls out of the money, while at the same time maintaining the intrinsic value of the 122. And the way that I like to think about it is that if I have and ideally hold support at something like 123.78, well, then an 85 cent debit puts me well within my break even in relationship to that 122, and as long as that holds, it's one more helpful way to try and manage the trade. So I hope that helps, gives you guys a couple of things to think about into this Friday. And then I also just wanted to make one more quick note for you, that if you weren't aware, that we will be trading the election live with John Carter and Rogie Horner next week. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to see them in their prime, and if it's something you're interested in, you can sign up after this video. So you'll have a great night, and I will see you at the next free video.